Welcome to the Genetics of God. Today, we embark on a groundbreaking revelation, unveiling the fine-tuning of the Word of Life. We will explore the essence of life itself from a genetic perspective, its profound connection to our faith, and its extraordinary implications for eternal life. The human body is the greatest engineering marvel, and human life as we know it is a masterpiece of intricate design. At the very core of this design lies the genetic code, a code composed of 4 alphabets, namely A, T, C, and G, collectively known as ATCG. I call this remarkable code the Word of Life. Just as the universe is fine-tuned to support the existence of life, the Word of Life itself is finely orchestrated to ensure the propagation of life through flawless self-replication. The harmony between the universe and life's genetic code is simply breathtaking. Just as the cosmos displays an awe-inspiring harmony, the Word of Life is fine-tuned at the molecular level, preserving the sequential order of each alphabet in a linear direction, faithfully transmitting the essence of life for eons after eons. It is a symphony of existence where every note is perfectly fine-tuned, giving rise to the miracle of life. Even if the position of one alphabet is changed, life ceases to exist. But let us not stop there, for there is a connection between the Word of Life and our faith. In the book of 1 John 1:1, we encounter a profound revelation. Jesus Christ is referred to as the Word of Life. He is the living embodiment of this divine code, the creator of the very fabric that defines life itself. As we ponder upon the significance of this revelation, we realize that just as the Word of Life remains an immortal fountain of youth, Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh, fine-tunes eternal life. He offers us salvation, drawing us closer to the divine plan that breathes life into our mortal frames. The connection between the genetic code and our faith is profound. It illuminates the extraordinary nature of life and its purpose. It reminds us that we are part of a grand design intricately woven by the hands of the Creator. Jesus Christ's role as the author of immortality and eternal salvation resonates deeply because He is the mastermind behind the very blueprint that defines us. As we conclude this journey, let us reflect upon the unveiling of the fine-tuning of the Word of Life. It is a revelation that intertwines science and faith, reminding us of the miracles that surrounds us. With this genetic code, life is a testament to the wonder of creation, and Jesus Christ, the Word of Life, is the gateway to a life that transcends our earthly bounds. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey. We hope you found this exploration of unveiling the fine-tuning of the Word of Life inspiring. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and receive notifications about future episodes. Remember, the fine-tuning of the Word of Life opens to an extraordinary revelation of truth. Until next time, continue to fine-tune your life in preparation for the life yet to come.